and I was driving back and forth to the hospital, and now we have a little snowstorm happening. So it was feel like there was no other choice. But had they dealt with it in the very beginning, because they use and not let it be your every moment of every thought, you are allowed to unplug and be yourself.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Look who I have. I have tea time with Nina.
Hi, guys.
I know you've been pretty dang busy and doing all kinds of stuff in Canada. So welcome. What have you been up to?
Thank you. I'm sorry. I have to apologize to Sheila because I was late today. My son had dental surgery and I was driving back and forth to the hospital, and now we have a little snowstorm happening. So it was just like I'm running late and just kerfuffled and trying to calm down. So, it's all
Here you
good.
go.
We should have recorded the first hour. We had the grandest old conversation. You know what I mean? When you get together with somebody, it doesn't feel like any time has gone by and you're just like,
Exactly. Good old conversation. Lovely. Catching up.
It was lovely.
All right. So what is your perspective of the convoy that happened in Canada? Please give us some insight. We're back going, do they know that they're in Canada?
Yeah, I know. Well, look, there's two sides to it. I have family and friends that live in Ontario and Toronto, and they were drove insane with the truckers, the noise, the inconvenience to be able to get up the roads and all that kind of stuff. So there's the one perspective. And realistically, we were coming to the end of using our or having to use masks. We're in Alberta, we no longer have a mask mandate. So I just kind of feel like the timing was sort of, questionable. I think there was a core group that had some good intention, but I think it got a lot of negative players involved. And I could tell you one side where I had people, and I'm talking to people on the ground. This is not the CBC News or what have you. So like I'm talking to people that are like, look, you can't have your president for you, it would be president, for us, prime minister, just come and say, okay, we're going to freeze your bank accounts. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Because we live in a place of free speech and free assembly. And the reality is, they let the truckers go down into that area, had they just barred them off like they should have from the very beginning, they would have never got down and did all that damage, or not damage, but kept the trucks, keeping, everybody from being able to move on the streets and stuff. And, there's just so much. And then I have other people that are like screaming at me going, do you realize that people can't get their medications? And it's like, it's the price of having to stand up for your rights. So there's all kinds of sides to it, but as a Canadian, I do think it's a slippery slope when you give the government too much oversight. And yes, we're going through a medical, a phenomenon that, we can't believe that's happening in our lifetimes, but that doesn't mean you give up all your rights, or at least make sure that you have a opposition side to keep everybody transparent and to keep everything above board, because absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
This is true. So that was what the thing was, is they were thinking that your prime minister overreached for making everybody wear a mask. Is that what they're?
Well, they were upset because they wanted to be able to, because trucking, you're moving, you're constantly moving and stuff. So they just wanted to be able to be mask free, being able to go through the border. And US was saying we had to have masks and have your shots and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So, right. So there was something I was going to say about that. Now I'm after losing my spot because I was trying to explain. Sugar. I forget. Completely gone now.
It's all right. It'll come back at the right moment. It'll definitely come back. Well, yeah. I was just wondering. I mean, we don't believe in overreach. I mean, we don't want the government to mandate women's bodies.
That's what I was going to say. the reason why there's the overreach is because Trudeau had emergency powers that he used, which meant that he could, cut off their water. He could cut off their bank accounts. He could then go forward. So it's almost like, and there was nobody killing anybody. There was no, you know what I mean? Like, yes, there was things that were going wrong that were happening that were, stopping people from driving, getting their medication. Ambulances couldn't. I'm not saying everything was perfect, but there was no guns, there was no firing. Like, you know what I mean? To be so harsh on a peaceful thing. But then some people feel like there was no other choice. But had they dealt with it in the very beginning, because they let the trucks go down in an area where they should have never been, they could have dealt with it up front, but it just kind of ballooned and was.
Well, I think he was more worried about was that the funding for these truckers was coming from some very, very dark spaces in the United States. So so once he started realizing that, if that's the reason why it went on for so long, is because he's watching and watching. All of a sudden now there was another buildup. All of a sudden now the GOP and the dark entities of the United States is now starting to send money and funding them. Now Trudeau, I think, and this is just our opinion as well. Now I think Trudeau did the exact right thing, that he went in there and he started threatening their life, whatever it is, whatever level he had to get to get them out of there. I think he, that's what was his angle. I don't think he did the right thing by taking it back off too. I mean, it wasn't like he was trying to do it to control. He was trying to do it to disperse and get them out of there.
Yeah. I think we have to be very careful, because but for the grace of God, go I. So how, because I could try to say something and then it'll be like trying to compare apples to oranges, but just say, you have a group of women down there and they're fighting for something, or you've got a group fighting for something, and all of a sudden they have the ability to freeze your bank account. I'm not talking about the saving up money entity. I'm talking about your own personal bank account. You can't take out money for groceries. You can't take money out for anything.
Right.
Like that is a strong, it's like one thing you could say, well, they should have done it because it's a medical blah, blah, blah. But how if there's another reason? If you let them do it for this reason, well, then the next time they'll try for something else, and you're giving away your rights. So it's about the big picture. You don't let go of your rights. Like if all of a sudden, because like you guys are dealing with women's bodily rights, right? Imagine if you went down to storm somewhere and they said, okay, all the women that were involved in that march, now we're going to take away your bank accounts.
I agree with that. I think
I think it was an alternative way to deal with them. I think they had an opportunity in the very beginning to not allow it to happen, but they dropped the ball. They didn't realize that it was going to be so big. I think there was a lot of disruption. I think there was a lot of people that had, couldn't get out the road, couldn't get to work, couldn't get medicines. Correct. I mean, businesses were affected. Everything was affected. But then even if you don't agree with the truckers, you have to agree with, we're after giving up, whether you're in Canada, US, Australia, and you name it. I mean, we're free to a certain extent.
Right.
How free are we? I mean, I get on my phone, I could be talking to my husband saying, oh, I'd love to get a new couch. And all of a sudden there's advertisement for couches.
That's always happening.
So I just feel like we have to stand up to push back and say, no, you don't have the right to just close down people's accounts. Because, okay, maybe it's right for this situation, but what about the next situation that's not right? And we have to fight for human rights. We have to, even if you don't agree with the premise, you have to fight for our rights to be free and independent. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's the only thing that gets me.
Yeah, we want women here in the United States to be able to go get medical treatment for their bodies. We want transgender children to be able to go get medical treatment for their bodies. Yeah, we understand all of that. You cannot shut down and start mandating all of that stuff. And
you guys need to get your free healthcare, because that should be a human right to everybody.
I agree.
A basic human. I'm not, don't cover everything, but a basic doctor's visit, because I can't imagine what it must be like, because if I had 3 kids. Yeah, that didn't cost me anything.
Yeah. See, here in the United States, and since you guys don't have to deal with it, you go to work, then you have to pay for healthcare out of your paycheck that you're making. So now you get this. Now your paycheck is now smaller because now you have to pay healthcare out of that, and that's like $200 or $300 a month, especially if you have a big family. Yeah, out of the paycheck, that small paycheck that you're already getting. So that's how it works here. And if you don't, and if you opt out of not getting any medical things, sometimes people can go on a medical assistance from the government, but you know what the government says? That you have to only make this amount of money in order to qualify for the government assistance that you can get for Medicare, right? So it's like horrible here. So most people get a job, they opt out of medical. So when they get sick, nobody goes to the doctor, nobody gets their medicine, nobody does that because of the cost.
Oh my God.
That's what it's really like here.
Like and that, okay. We have to pay for our medications. Right. And and if you make a certain amount, under a certain amount, you can get supplement and everything. So even though but I mean, if I fall down right now, can go to the hospital. They'll give me a bed. They'll give me all my medications. They'll make sure I'm fully and that does not cost me a cent. Now, the aspirin I got to buy from home, or you know what I mean? Like we still have to buy our medications, but like I can't imagine not having that.
No, people will refuse to go to the emergency room because it costs for the ambulance ride to get to the emergency room. Once you get there, the emergency room is higher cost than just a normal visit to doing anything else because it's an emergency, and they will charge you for every needle, every swab, they detail it. It's awful.
No, I'm dead serious. How do people afford it?
They don't. They go bankrupt on it. They do not afford it. There's so many. The reason why there's a big, huge poverty issue here is a lot has to do with medical issues. Once you're sick and you're in the hospital, now you have a $3,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 to $8,000 to $10,000 bill that you have to pay them back. Now their whole life, because of their life being threatened, now a continuation of their life threatened because they now have to pay that back. It is awful.
My God.
Awful.
That is.
And we just cannot convince our government to allow free healthcare. They just will not go there for some reason. Some will. I mean, the Democrats really want it, but there's such payback. There's rich doctors that will say no because they won't be rich like they are. They can charge anything they want.
Exactly, because you can see the system works. Other countries do it. Right. You know what I mean? And I don't understand ours because our taxes are high, but I mean,
yeah, that's one thing that our taxes are high. And I know that your guys' gas, you pay $3 or $4 for a liter versus we pay $3 or $4 for a gallon. There's a huge difference in gas prices, and I understand that. Yeah. And my mother explained that to me because she used to live in Cheyenne up in Quebec. And she explained that to me that's because of the healthcare. This is where they're getting their monies from that. And everybody has to be on board with it or not,
Like cigarettes are taxed, like they're like double or triple the price because you cost more money in the hospital. So therefore we're going to tax cigarettes and things of that nature because it costs more for the healthcare. But that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I gotta say, it's hard because I hear the stories, I see it on American television, but that's not how it is here. So it's like something that you see on TV. It doesn't seem real, if that makes sense.
Right.
It doesn't seem real that people would be in 2022 fighting for basic. Like what about children? Like, is there an age that they get taken care of by a doctor free?
No. Only the families and all that pretty much live at poverty level, their children can get state assistance for their medical, but if you live above that, you have to pay your employers whatever they choose for medical. I mean, you can choose your own medical. That's what Obamacare was, that you can choose that. It was a little cheaper than choosing something from your own employer. But no, they have to pay for that. And it's like a level. And then when you go above that, you're going to be poverty. It's like there's no gaining in this country. Sometimes there's just no way to gain, because the system is set up that way.
Children, they get an earache. You could be out a lot of money just for a little earache. And how many earaches, and they come home with everything.
Yeah. An average earache for a child, if you take that child, I think that the doctor visit, I have military medical, so I'm just going off of memory. I mean, you could spend up to being $150 to $200 just for the office visit, and then for the medication to get. So that, and if you're a family, if you're a single parent, that $150 really is, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow, guys.
Yeah. That's how. Yeah, it's an unbelievable system here in the United States that is.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right. And of course, our, our single moms and our, the ones that have children and things like that really, really do get impacted the most. So,
yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I know the January 6th, just recently, the January 6th committee lays out our potential criminal charges against Trump.
Go.
It says in a filing. I know, in a filing, the panel said that there was enough evidence to suggest that the former president might have engaged in criminal conspiracy as he fought to remain in office. So it looks like, it says the House committee investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol. It says that Wednesday that there was enough evidence to conclude that the former president, Donald J. Trump, and some of his allies, they're going after more people, allies might have conspired to commit fraud and obstruction by misleading the Americans about the outcome of the 2020 election and attempting to overturn the results. So it looks like in the court filings, so they've already filed. So let's take a look and see how this is going to turn out.
Alrighty. Don't you just love it?
Yes.
I gotta say, I know it takes a while, but seeing him on television the other night, and he was sweating and he looked bloated and he's pro-Trump, pro-Putin. It was like, my God, man.
Oh, he was pro-Putin last week. This week he's not.
Oh, okay. He's anti-Putin now?
Yeah. Anti-Putin today, this week.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And so which one do you think the MAGAs are going to accept?
Unfortunately or fortunately?
Yeah. Which one they're going to tell us that what he said? They're going to totally forget that the last week happened.
Interesting.
What did you come up with? I'm going to shuffle, so I'm going to put myself on mute real quick.
I've got the Two of Wands. So they're holding the world in their hands. So they have the information. And because this card came up, I wouldn't be surprised if you see somebody from overseas, somebody, from another country or something being involved in this. That's so interesting. I got the Hangman. And that's a change of thinking. I think it's finally, because the information's coming out and it's a lot of gossip and stuff. There's going to be the Ace of Swords going through Trump's crown. So this is definitely going to change some people's minds going forward. But then I also got the Hermit. And unfortunately, I always find this with Trump that no matter what I'm looking at, there's still always this sort of slim chance that he can find a way around it or just kind of walk through it and try not, because right now with everything that's happening in the world, he's not getting as much light on everything that's happening with him. Because I didn't know that until you told me just then about Trump having, because I was gone today doing everything with the family. So I hadn't seen the news to find that out. So, and I think the family's going to be involved, but somehow, because like I got the sun upside down and the hermit. So there's still more information to come. My God, this man is in trouble. Like it feels like once something gets set in motion, it's going to be like a bunch of dominoes, and we're just going to be watching one after the other, just fall, fall, fall. We shouldn't laugh or smile about it.
But I am. Oh, but I am. Well, I got the awakening and the change. I got the judgment card, which is the inner calling, the reflection, the healing, and the empress. That means they have a lot.
Yep.
They have a lot to come against him with judgment. I also got the temperance and the four of cups, meaning that they're trying to balance out the forces. They're going to balance out the information. And then we have the apathy, the boredom, the missed opportunity, or the blind spot was what they were hoping that they would not do. You know, like in the January 6th, the blind spot was that we didn't see this coming. We didn't understand why this is happening. We were just trying to really figure it out because we got the new beginning. So once that blind spot was removed, we got the new beginning here. We got the Fool, but we also have self-imposed, the eight of, the eight of swords that self-imposed, they did it to themselves. And I also got the ace of swords, where it talks about the breakthrough, the victory, the truth of the whole thing. And then of course the end result was justice. Yay! We have a justice on there. Girl. The truth, the cause. It. Yep. And then I also, for my situationals, I also got crushed. So this information is going to definitely gain some momentum, gain some prospects. Yeah, I think it's almost like, one of those things where you like a sock, if you run it against the floor, it gains all the dirt and the fuzzies and stuff like that. That's exactly what's going to happen. Going to gain some perspective and gain some stuff to go with it. But yeah,
dust.
It is going to have a lot of impact, I think, on Trump and what's going to happen.
Well,
But I do agree that slippery little. Right? Yeah, that slippery little slimy person that he is. It's always that. Yeah.
No, go ahead, love it.
It's always that anticipation of him slipping away from it. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And because I do think that the kids are going to, because I mean, even just looking at the messages that they sent during January 6th, tell him to stop, do all that. That's already his kids throwing their dad under the bus. Like, it's so right there in your face. It's right here. Like, let's go, guys.
Yeah.
At least somebody put it out so he can't become president.
He can't.
You can't run again. You can't run again.
Well, he can't because they have not formally said it, but he cannot run for president again because of all the documents that he stole from the committee and all the stuff that was at Mar-a-Lago, especially that top secret information. He can't.
And yet he's still out. If that was a normal Joe, I know, but he's still
free,
out and about. He's still free. That's beyond, like, it's treason what he has done against the United States.
And I want him to be locked up just as much as everybody else, but I have a feeling, and this may be good, bad, or indifferent, I don't know yet, but I have a feeling that they don't want this country to be the Russian who puts his political opponents in jail. They don't want that to be the narrative of this country. However, I think they will miss the mark if they don't hold him accountable with the American people.
I agree, but I also think, and I've said this before, that whatever Trump has done, if it directly affects the U.S., its security, its whatever, we're not going to hear about it. There's things that we're not supposed to know. So even if we know that Trump did something wrong, they're not going to come out and go, oh my God, he went and gave this to Putin, because then you're telling on yourself. Like, there's a whole world that goes on that we're not a part of, that
Yeah.
they deal with all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I know Trump became president. I still don't think he has the intelligence to have done it. I think he was brought there by other people. I think people took advantage of him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
Putin took from him. He didn't get anything. They're just laughing at him. He's the laughing stock.
I completely agree. And what they have created was this beast that all of a sudden he was, with their help, was able to get this support, this following, this, dedication to him. And they were very, very probably shocked at the idea that he got this solid base and this solid following, because they cannot get somebody else to step in his place for that following to transfer to this other person. They have offered, but they just can't get it done. They just can't get it done. So yeah, I agree that it's a whole big huge mess and
yeah.
All right. So
everything's a bit of this.
Did you I know you, I think we were talking about this earlier. You heard about where Lauren bobblehead Boebert and Marjorie Vag the Vag.
Oh, Lord help me.
Okay. At the speech. I can go on and on.
Oh my God, the hyenas.
Yeah, the hyenas. How we were talking about that, and so what I was noticing with Boebert, and of course with her, was that it was pre-planned. As you can look at the clip, you look at the clip, and she had her phone right there. Now, what she looked like she got was that she got texted, "I'm videotaping you," and then the text message was, "Do it now." So that's the reason why she looked at her phone. She picked up her phone, and then she said something. So whoever was videotaping her, which I think it was Matt Gaetz, I really do, says, "Here, say something now." And she got that text message, and then she said, so she was prompted. It was planned. This is exactly what they wanted from her. And of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene can't be out deviled.
Outdone. Yeah.
She can't be outdone. She can't be out deviled. So she had to join in on build the wall for the, for the immigrants that they have proven many a times that they just climb right over or go right through or whatever it is.
It's not, it's not feasible. They're nuts. That looks so bad. So bad. They're like,
I do. And if you look at the clip with Lindsey Graham, they kind of pop back over to Lindsey Graham, and he's listening to what he says. He pulls his head over, and you can see him say something like a cuss word.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's like, oh my God. And you can tell that he was not happy about what just happened. And
like, wasn't Matt Gaetz in trouble? Like, he had the sexual harassment.
He's still there. And all that's still going on. We don't know. We keep on hoping. We keep on hearing, like, maybe next week he'll be in, maybe next week, but it's still going on. Do you want to read on him? I haven't read on him in a long time. See how close he is.
Let's see how he is. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
He's Well,
that's one thing. Matt Gaetz has not been in the spotlight lately.
No,
he just hasn't. Yeah.
In the past, this has to do with money, with power, with moving up the ladder. Underneath it all, he's the fool, but he's not the fool that does something adventurous. He's the fool that steps off the cliff, and now he has no other choice. We've got temperance, but it is reversed. So temperance card for me oftentimes can be justice going against him. So things are not in balance for him, but yet in the future, I still got the 7 of Cups. So things are still, they're waiting on information. It's like there's something, some Knight of Pentacles is here, waiting for some kind of information. There's something that's stalling them at this point. But I do see that the future is Sun, so he will eventually get put down for this, like a dog. But right now, there's some kind of information, something that they're trying to work out, that in a legal case, I guess. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I actually got the 9 of Swords, where he's suffering, and his friends sold him out. I have that, and then I had the lying and the cheating and the hamster wheel. He's just playing the game. He's just playing the hamster wheel game, trying to prolong it, file this, file that, this thing and the other. The anticipation of making it right because of the children. The anticipation, this is the country. But what the nice thing about it is, I also have the Death card and Bounty Hunter.
Oh, good.
So we do have at the end of all of this, the Death card and the Bounty Hunter. They're going to get their man.
I hope so. Eventually,
they're going to get their man. It's just taken, it takes that. I remember a long time ago, probably in the 80s, they were talking about the Trump family using the courts to prolong. And as long as you kick the can far ahead, and then all of a sudden it just peters out.
Yeah.
And that's a tactic that the Republicans have been using forever.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think so. At the end of that, they're going to get their man, the bounty hunter. They're going to get their man. That's what they're doing.
I still think there's some confusion there. They're trying to get all their, they don't want this to go too quickly. And then all of a sudden he gets off on something technical or something like that. I think and there's just so much, like, where are we getting the people to take care of all these criminals? Because there's just so many of them.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so many cases can be looked at and stuff like that. Like, it's just, wow.
Huge overload for them, because they're not only doing Matt Gates's problem. I mean, they have that they have more cases than just Matt Gates.
100%.
But I think
just that. It's just, look how Trump and everything's kind of like, all the news about Trump kind of went quiet now with everything that happened in Ukraine. God bless those people and the war and everything that's happening there. But we can't lose sight of the things that are going on, because maybe that's why I got the Hermit for Trump, because people aren't seeing everything. Because, they try to do things in the dark of night. They do it overnight. They do it on the weekend, so you don't find out about it, or there's less of an impact. But I still think that, we got to keep up on things, no matter what's going on.
If there's anything that the Republicans know how to do, is manipulate.
Yeah.
They are
Biden's under a lot of pressure now with Ukraine and just everything that's going on with Putin, and
I know
it's a world, crazy world.
All right, let's do a reading for the who's watching us. Let's do a reading for them and how to keep them calm, cool, and collective, and give them some support in their spiritual journey. Let's do that, and then we'll get out of here.
I gotta go back to my son and get some medications.
Say that again.
I said I gotta go back with my son because I gotta pick up some medications in that form. God bless him. Exactly. Nothing worse than getting your wisdom teeth out.
Ooh.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so let's give a collective spiritual support from some
advice.
I'll go ahead and go first, and we'll end up with yours, because yours is pretty good. All right, so what I got here was watch out for the conflicts and the ego in the whole messaging that's coming through. They're trying to throw the arrows of delusion at us on a regular basis. But what here is insight that comes from meditation, the need to rest and take a vacation, allow yourself more time before making a decision, mental exhaustion, get more sleep. So what this card is really telling us is don't take everything right off the bat. Give yourself some time to digest it and get through the truth and get to where you feel what the information really means. So that's the collective energy from me. What do you got?
That's perfect. That's perfect. All righty. We've got the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is all about taking charge of your own life, your own position. Going along with what Sheila said, is we're living in a fear-based world at this point, especially with internet and being able to, see things in real time all the time. So you have to take care of your own health. When the King of Wands comes up, that's saying, hey, are you making sure everything's okay with you? Check in on your friends, because when you're the King of Wands, you're the one that's kind of got the energy to take care of everything. Check in on your friends, check in with yourself, make sure your health is okay, and realize that, yes, there's a lot of stuff happening in the world and we have to be cognizant of it and we have to appreciate and understand it. But it's okay. It's okay that your life is not directly affected by it. It's okay for you to unplug the news and not let it be your every moment of every thought. You are allowed to unplug and be yourself and take a moment for gratitude, take a moment for your family and get doing stuff. Sometimes cleaning or getting to a project or just starting something can get your mind off of what's happening in this world. So be a doer. Don't let it all fester. Put your energy into something positive.
Good. And on that note, what a positive note that we have. So thank you so much, Nina. I know that I captured you in the middle of a busy, busy week, and I appreciate the fact that you said yes to join me on my channel.
Of course.
And there's in the works that we may see each other often.
Yes, darlings. Yes.
All right, everyone. See you later. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you, Sheila.